Everyone, and welcome to Middays, SuperTalk Mississippi. I'm your host, Gerard Gibert, on location today at the beautiful Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum. What an office I have for today's show. The view, a sparkling day, view of the coast. Will East back in the SuperTalk Mississippi headquarters. We've relocated the Element Well studio for the Mississippi Municipal League Annual Conference. We'll be guiding you through the middle of your day with facts, fodder, and fine music. Have a full slate of guests lined up for you today. We'll get it kicked off right now with Ricky Mathews. He's a SuperTalk Mississippi host of the Ricky Mathews Show, and also SuperTalk Mississippi Outdoors. Ricky, good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
It's good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah. Well, this is a big event. Brings a lot of people to the coast, and everybody you talk to. I know you just had some great interviews, had your show broadcast live from the venue here. These folks get a lot out of this just from interacting with their peers that run these other cities and counties.
Yeah, one of the points I made is I had a great hour-long conversation on my show recently with the House Speaker Jason White, and he talked about how when they did the tax reform bill, they were killing several birds with one stone. How important it was to have that communication with all these cities and counties and whatever. You realize when you're here and you see that parking lot and all these folks that are here, how integrated our state is. And to be successful, to be able to pull off like tax reform, for example, man, there's a lot of things that have to fall into place from a communication point of view. And Mississippi Municipal League creates those relationships, and it's really an awesome opportunity for them.
There's no doubt. It's always well attended, as you know. I mean, the folks that run the cities and counties, the mayors, the supervisors, the council people, the alder people, they're always here, and plenty of sessions, plenty of third-party vendors that they work with.
Yeah.
Day in and day out, they're here. They sponsor lots of the events, and it's just overall, it's a good setting. It's a good opportunity for them again to learn what is going on in the world of municipal level governance, and hopefully bring that information and that knowledge back to their respective cities and counties and improve the quality of life.
It is. I mean, you think about it being a meeting, you think about it being this learning opportunity through these various learning opportunities they have. But Matt McDonald joined me on my show, and he said that this has become one of the largest trade shows that they do. They fill the entire building full of all these, as you pointed out, third-party vendors that they do business with. And so it's way bigger than just a meeting of the leaders across the state, but it's also a huge trade show to go along with it. So it's a big meeting. It's important.
Well, cities, counties have a lot of needs, and there are a lot of vendors, third parties that they contract with for those various products and services. And so this is a good place for them to invest a little money to be an exhibitor and have all their wares on display for the consumers, the procurement people, the decision makers to see all that.
Yeah, it is. I had Fofo Gillich on, the mayor of Biloxi, and then Bobby Cox, new mayor of Ocean Springs.
Yeah.
To see their warm relationship, we used to be competitive here on the coast of Mississippi.
That's good, isn't it?
It's so awesome.
It's so good to see that. Yeah,
it is really good. And then Jay from the mayor of Pascagoula pops up and says hello to the group, and you see the warmness there. Fofo's in the process of bringing all the mayors of coast of Mississippi together, and they share with each other. And Bobby being a new mayor, what a great opportunity for him to be able to tap into that. So, yeah, you get the sense that this creates tremendous conversations that are oftentimes informal and not part of their regular agenda. It's just them getting together and talking.
And Mayor Gillich, Fofo Gillich, just told me he's on his way to Washington. He's still fighting FEMA issues.
I know.
It's unbelievable.
I know. It's 20 years after Hurricane Katrina. 20 years. There's still infrastructure projects underway. He's mentioned 12 are still getting finished with 2 to go. 20 years after Hurricane Katrina, and still having to wrangle about the money after all this time.
That's incredible. And it's he needs to be working on more important things, but he's got to address something that has been lagging for so long. You can't ignore that.
No, you can't.
I applaud him for investing the cycles in that. Shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't be that way. But, you know, in the case of what was interesting about knowing what people say 20 years later, what is that all about?
Yeah.
It's when they go in and start digging up these old sewage lines that have been there forever, it's literally like an archaeological dig. And they hit stuff that causes them to have to stop and move on and do other things. But they're putting a much more modern infrastructure where, as he points it out, gravity takes care of it, reducing the number of lift stations that they need. All these things are critical. And, 20 years after the storm, they're still dealing with it.
And as you know, from the city and county perspective, infrastructure, a primary aspect of what they are responsible for, it never ends, does it?
No, it doesn't. It ain't sexy, Gerard. But as you know from an economic development head,
critical.
You know yourself, that's the thing that will get you the projects or not get you the project based on how aggressive you are there. So you have to invest. If you don't, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and it's a chicken and egg. You got to invest to have the infrastructure to support the projects. You need the projects to bring the tax base up to pay for all that.
It is. It's wild. But, man, are we getting some experience about that across the state now?
Incredible. It's incredible.
I mean, when you see what's happening in this state,
it's exciting.
We keep seeing these rankings one after another come out. Mississippi's on the map in a big way.
I've always felt, Ricky, that, and I know you have this same experience from your business background. We're a well-kept secret. We got to do a better job of telling the story. We are doing a better job, but we've been, I think, just kind of out of sight, out of mind for so long, and that creates a vacuum. And in that vacuum, you get these negative perceptions.
Yeah, you do.
And they're just wrong about our state.
I'm actually finishing up a book now about hope, and it was spurred by my experience after Hurricane Katrina, but it's bigger than that. But there's actually a lesson in it that talks about the perceptions of Mississippi. Everybody who comes here, they're blown away with what they see once they get here. This is true of the average person who might come in and volunteer after a disaster, and it's true of some of these incredible investors that are investing in the state. Once they come here and see it for themselves, they say, my goodness, this is not what I expected. What's in the heart and soul of Mississippians is special. This is a really special place. We don't deserve it. In fact, if you think about our past, we actually came to grips with our past earlier maybe than some other states do, and what that did is bring us together. There's always going to be division, but I think in terms of what we've been able to accomplish is it's really remarkable, and when people see it for themselves, it's very special.
Totally agree. Once they get here, once they experience it, once they meet the people in particular, and they just spent some time here, they say, this isn't at all what I expected. I've heard it over and over and over again, bringing in the folks from Wall Street in my business days when I was raising money. And I was always kind of be concerned before they got here about, what do they expect? Or are we going to let them down? Are we going to exceed their expectations? Every single time we exceeded expectations.
Well, you'd had the opportunity to do this as well, but in my career I had the chance to travel all across the United States with, corporate responsibilities across the United States. And what I came to appreciate is that, just on my own observation, that what you see in other places ain't nearly as special as what we have here. Forget about somebody coming in from the outside.
Good point.
I saw that the culture that I was part of, the sensibilities I brought to the table as a leader, tended to shine in those at those other tables with people outside this area. So, it's a cool thing we have, the ability to get along and be nice.
Well, as you know, unfortunately, these negative perceptions, misconceptions, shaped by media and Hollywood.
Yeah.
But as the generations progress, people have a more open mind, and maybe you don't see and hear as much about our state in a negative way. And so we have this opportunity to tell a different story. We're doing it. Our government leaders are doing it. Our people, our businesses are doing it. And that's producing results for us.
It really is. And we're going to continue to tell the story. If there's ever going to be anything people say about Tate Reeves, it's going to be that his legacy was economic development.
No doubt about it.
He is all in.
Hyper-focused on it, and I think he and Bill Cork at MDA, the various economic developers across the state, the community leaders around the state as well have done a phenomenal job in making sure that we're ready for business.
And then add to that higher ed and one of the strongest community college systems in America, and what they're doing in job training and getting people ready for these jobs. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, we're starting to leapfrog the other states in many of these areas, education, workforce development.
Including AI.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And something else, the governor understood once we had some success, that site development is critical. And I was hearing an interview this morning about some data center expansion and construction up in Virginia, and they were saying, hey, the number one problem we have here is the slow permitting process. Speed to